Hello, hi everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, Venkatesh.
Okay, so let's start the remaining topics. So the remaining topics which we listed was we had the FS documents which we need to cover. Then we have the GST. Then we said we have batch management. So these are the three leftover topics which we need to cover. If you find any, let me know. So I have also set up a meeting today evening. So we'll try to cover two topics now and the remaining topic evening. If you find anything is missing, we can cover that evening. Okay. So let us start with the FS documents and discuss how FS documents are important and why we use FS documents here and how are we going to fulfill the FS documents. So let me share my screen. Let me see my screen.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So as I mentioned, we'll be covering FS documents today. So what are FS documents? Before we speak about FS documents, let us speak about the system landscape, which we already discussed. So we said that we will be having three normal systems in regular business scenarios. So we'll be having the development server, where you will be doing the configuration or you'll be doing the design of system. Then you have the quality system where the testing happens. So that might be the UAT, the user acceptance testing, or it might also be the mock cutover activities which are taken care. So those will be done to the quality server. And then we have the production server where you will be handing over the business, the system, and they will be running the business process there. And we also discussed that regarding the transport request, whenever we need to transfer the configuration from one system to other system, we'll be using this transport request to transfer the data from one system to other system. But always the transport request should go from the development system, not from any other system. So if you have quality system, the configuration should go from dev to quality. Then the testing is happening in quality system. And then if you're going live with production, still you need to transfer the TR from development to the production. Okay. Now, coming to this developments. So what are the developments and how the developments are going to happen in business? So as I discussed, we know that we have different types of implementation. We have greenfield, we have conversion, we have rollout, we have support implementation. So we also discussed that in greenfield implementation, 70 to 80% is going to be standard SAP and remaining 20% is going to be customization. And we also discussed that SAP is going to give the plain system, which does not contain anything. And we from different modules are going to set up the system based on the business requirement and handing over the business with the system. So if business is coming up with some requirement and we are not able to fulfill that requirement through a standard functionality, then in that case, we need to go with the customization. When I say customization, it is going to be the custom enhancement or custom development for the system. Apart from standard, we are going to invent something custom in the system. To do this activity, we need the ABAPus because the custom development involves ABAPus to do the coding. If a consultant, a functional consultant is not able to achieve the requirement through a configuration or design, then we will be moving the requirement to the ABAPus to invent a new thing in SAP so that that can fulfill the requirement of the business. So when I say development is nothing but it is also a business process where we are not able to fulfill that business process through standard and we are going with customization. Okay, and this development can be done at the implementation phase and also can be done at the support phase. For example, when you are doing implementation, if business has identified that this is going to be a gap, then that is going to be a development. And after implementation, after business going live, if they find that this functionality needs to be implemented, they felt that this is more manual, they want to automate it. Even in that case also, we can do this implementation or the custom implementation. Okay, so this is nothing but development. Now coming to the different types of development. So there are two types of development. One is, as I mentioned, standard development, and one is a custom development. So what is standard development and custom development? So here we have the flow of the development. First thing is you get the requirement from business. The requirement is getting initiated from business. If that requirement is feasible, it might be with standard SAP or non-standard SAP. So it is a job of consultant to investigate and check if that process or if the requirement coming from business can be achieved in SAP or not. If you're not able to achieve that in SAP, you cannot do that in standard, as well as you are not able to do that in customization, then you can directly tell business that this is not going to happen in SAP. If you can achieve that through standard configuration or a custom development, then you can mention that it is feasible, we can do that. Okay. So what is the standard development and what is custom development? The standard development is nothing but you are not involving the ABAPer here to write a new program. There is already a program. For example, there is already a body available in system. You are just activating that body. When you are just activating the system things which are not active, that is called as standard development. And there are some functionalities which are not at all available in system. You're asking your ABAPer to write a program for it, then it is going to be a custom development. So this is the difference between custom development and the standard development. Custom development is nothing but you're completely involving the ABAPer here to write the program from scratch. In standard development, you are not involving ABAPer completely here. You are just asking to start activating something in SAP so that the new functionality what you are thinking will work. So to get started with this development, what we need to do is we need to write the FS document. From functional side, we need to write the document with the requirement and how that can be achieved with the logic. As I mentioned earlier, the ABAPer or the technical consultant does not know the field names. For example, he does not know what is material number. He does not know what is material group. So we need to explain ABAPer that or a technical developer that how he need to get the data, from where he need to fetch the data, all those things. Okay, and also I said that the data, whatever is getting created in system, is getting stored in some table. In SAP, we have different tables for different functionalities. For material master, we have 4 to 5 tables like MARA, which is going to store the basic data, MARC, which is storing the plant data, MARD, which is storing store location data, MBEW, which is storing the valuation data. In the same way, for supplier also you have LFA1, LFB1, LFM1. So you have a lot of tables. So we'll speak regarding the tables later on. So what we are, as a functional consultant, what we are going to do is, we are going to tell in a technical language, saying that from where the data need to be fetched. So a mapper is going to fetch the data from there and is going to feed the data to the program. So that information we need to fill in the FS. The full form of FS is functional specification. The functional specification document. Whenever you feel that there is a custom development or standard development involved in this project, the functional consultant should write the FS document. I'll show how FS document looks. FS document is going to have complete requirement with the solution. Okay, as soon as we functional team fill that information, that is going for approval for the business. Post approval, it is going to the ABAPer's hand, and ABAPer is going to build that program or the functionality which we requested, and he is going to hand over the solution to us. When he is handing over the solution to us, we need to test it. So that testing is called as FUT, which is called as functional unit testing. Okay, testing which is done by the functional people or the functional consultant is called as functional unit testing. And there is also a technical consultant who is involved here in doing the development. Even he need to do testing from his side if everything is working fine from program level. So that testing is called as technical user testing, TUT. So technical user testing is done by the ABAPer. The functional unit testing is done by the functional consultant. If everything goes well, only then it will be moved to the end user testing. That is nothing but UAT. Once UAT has been performed well, everything is working, then the TR will get moved to the production. Until unless the UAT is passed, the functionality will not get moved to the production. Okay. Then we are going to decide regarding the security roles, who is going to use that functionality. So that is how the development process flow works. If everything is going to be standard, then we don't require this functionality. But at least 10 to 20%, if you're going with complete standard, 100% standard also, you might go with some 20% of customization for sure. For example, business will have a requirement of building their own PO form because SAP PO form is pretty standard. It does not give much details. If you need to build your own PO form with your logo, then there is customization. If you want to build your GR form, that is customization. If you want to build a custom report, because MM60, when you open MM60, MM60 gives only limited data of material. If you want to see a lot of data, then that is a customization. If you want to connect your SAP system with other legacy system, then there is also a customization. So without customization, none of the implementation is going to be complete 100%. Okay. So what we'll be doing here is we'll be seeing how to write the FS documents. So as a functional consultant, our job is to write the FS documents. Our job is to understand the requirement from business, explain the requirement in the FS document, and explain the solution also to the ABAPer. So we need to give the requirement. We should also give the solution to the ABAPer. ABAPer job is to only execute the solution, but we give. So our solution will be from where should we fetch the data? Only that information we need to give. For example, if I say we need to build a PO form, we are not going to get the data from other system. We have the information in our system, and from where should we get the information? That information we need to give to the technical people, and they are going to fetch the data from there and insert the data in the PO form. So that is regarding the FS. Okay. Before I move to the FS, any questions here? In the meanwhile, I'll open some FS documents.
Venkatesh, customization of T code is also done by MM or ABAP.
Customization of T code is done by functional consultant, but the creation is done by the technical consultant.
So we have to tell our requirements to them and they'll do it, is it?
Yes.
Uh, Venkatesh, you said MM60. Like what is that MM60?
MM60 is a transaction where you can see the list of materials which are there in the.
Oh, okay. The transaction. Okay, fine.
Any more questions? Okay. If no questions, then let me explain what are the customization which we might have. So I think we discussed regarding this RICEF, RICEFW. So RICEF is going to be the customization. Whenever a business is not able to achieve the functionality in standard, it's not only business, it is also going to be functional consultant or technical consultant. They are going to define the RICEF. The RICEF is nothing but report, interface, conversion, enhancement, forms, and workflows. So what is this report? We'll discuss that in some time. So as I mentioned, when business is not going to fulfill, or when a functional consultant is not going to fulfill the requirement through standard SAP functionalities, then we will require this RICEF. So RICEF is a part of customization, and this is applied in all the types of project types. It can also be in greenfield, in brownfield, in rollout, even in support project. When business is not satisfied using the functionality which is more manual, they can still request the consultants to check if there can be any enhancement which is going to be reduce their work life. And why business does not suggest, or technical consultant or functional consultant does not suggest to go with RICEF is more costly. Because as we are involving the technical consultant here, the RICEF is going to be more costly. So business does not want more RICEF to be defined. They wanted to achieve the functionality in standard SAP. If there are no standard functionalities, only then they will go with RICEF. When they're going with RICEF, they also think that should we really need this RICEF or not? Because that is going to cost double compared to the standard functionality. Okay. So now, if I discuss regarding RICEF, RICEF is nothing but, as I mentioned, report, interface, conversion, enhancement, forms, and workflow. So what is report? Report is nothing but we have a lot of reports in SAP. To see the materials, we have the report called as MM60, the transaction. If you want to see the report of vendors which are created, we have the transaction called MKBZ. To see PIRs, we have ME14. To see source list, we have ME03. So we have a lot of reports. To see PR, we have ME5A. To see POs, we have ME2A or 2N. To see contracts also, we have ME3N. So what all data you create, it might be master data or it might be transaction data. To view the data, you have the reports. But if business is not satisfied with the reports which SAP has given, because if you go to MM60, the transaction, you'll be able to see only few fields which are used. If business wants to add some more fields, then it is going to be customization. So any new report which is apart from standard is going to be a customization of report. Okay, so what all we use is we will be using ABAP programming to build the report. We'll be using the Power BI. Power BI is a reporting tool. Okay, if you are going to have the Power BI report, then you also need to include the interface, because Power BI is a different system. If you want to see the reports in different system, the data from SAP system should go to the different system. So how can we send the information from SAP system to the other system? In that case, the interface comes into picture. The interface is nothing but connecting the SAP system with any other legacy system or the third-party system. When you're connecting the SAP system with the legacy system or third-party system, then that is called as interface. So this interface will transfer the data from one system to another system and also receive the data from other system to the SAP system. So in part of that, we saw two functionalities in this interface. One is RFC, remote function call. One is IDOC, the intermediate document. Okay, and we also saw the PAPI. And apart from this, we also use the middleware to do the interfaces. So we discuss regarding the middleware also and why middleware is used for the conversion. Then coming to the third part, which is conversion. Conversion is going to help us to convert the data from legacy system to the SAP system. Like if you want to transfer the master data, if you want to transfer the transaction data, that can also be done by LSMW or LTMC. But if you don't want to transfer through LSMW, LTMC, or if you want to program to transfer it more efficiently, then you can go with RISE. Then you have the enhancements. Enhancements are nothing but just using the same SAP standard functionality, but just enhancing the system a bit, like adding a field in the purchase order, or adding some more functionalities to the SAP standard functionality. You're not changing standard, but you're including something in standard functionality. So that is enhancements. Then you have the forms. Forms are nothing but SAP has given us standard forms like PO form, GR form, where you'll be able to see the information in standard way. If business wants to see the PO form in a custom manner, so they want to add their logo, they want to add a table, the data should be structured. In that case, they will be using the forms. Then we have the workflow. Workflow is nothing but the release procedure. Whenever a person needs to release a purchase order or anything, he need to go to the transaction and release it. There might be business requirement that they need to trigger an email to the person who should release. He don't want to log into the system. It should reach to his my inbox. There should be a notification coming to your mobile phone so that he can click on the mobile phone notification and approve it. Because a lot of the approvers are going to be in high level. And if they don't want to log into the system every time, they need to get a notification that can happen to the workflow. So these are the custom things which can be done in SAP system. For this, as a functional consultant, we need to provide the function specification document to them. We'll see how FS looks, and we'll discuss how to write the FS in something. Any questions till now? And I'll share this PDF with you where I explain what is report, what is interface, and how are we going to categorize the interface. what is conversion, what is enhancements, just in a text format you can read if you require. Any questions till now?
Venkatesh, we have been allocated with some FS document videos in Teachable.
Okay. Okay, then Prabhu has given the access. Okay.
FS documents with video solutions. Is it related to the same what you're teaching now?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be going through some FS documents from that list only.
Okay.
Okay, if no questions, then I'll move to the FS document. Let me reshare my screen. So let me try to pick some FS documents from each category and discuss. So let me open the first one. I don't know which it is. Okay, let me take this and discuss. So this is one of the real-time FS document which we have prepared. So this is an FS document, how it looks. Each and every business is going to have the own
Venkatesh, I'm not able to hear anything. Is it the same for others or?
Yeah, we are not able to hear you.
Sorry, I got disconnected and Zoom started getting updated. Let me share my screen. Okay, let me know if my screen is visible.
No, Venkatesh.
Yeah, 1 second.
Yes, now I can.
Okay. So first thing is, let's discuss regarding this FS. So this is a standard FS, and each and every business is going to have their own template, which will be provided to the technical consultant and the functional consultant, and they are going to fill their requirements there. So this might be one of the requirement. The first requirement is, if we scroll down here, first you need to brief what is the description which is requested from business. So here you have to create a system control to block the closing of POs against which advance payment is done. So this FS is going to explain the user should not be able to close the POs for which POs the advance payment has been done. So normally in SAP, what happens if you don't enable this GR-based invoice verification and you raise a purchase order, you can pay the vendor if he is not delivering the goods also. If he is not delivering the goods, even you can pay the vendor. But a part of this, there is also a functionality where vendor is going to request you for the advance payment. If the order value is huge, the vendor might ask, can you provide me the advance payment? This is a part of negotiation. When the buyer is agreeing to pay the advance payment, and the PO is placed, for example, and the buyer is paying the advance payment to the vendor. Once the advance payment is done, SAP does not block the POs for the deletion. Still, SAP will allow you to delete the POs or close the POs which are still open. So there is a business requirement where business is requesting not to close the POs for which the advance payment is done. As this is not a standard functionality, SAP does not support to block or give an error message saying that the advance payment is done. We are taking up this with an enhancement. So this is not going to be an interface or conversion. This is going to be enhancement. So you need to also mark this. This is going to be enhancement, or this is going to be an interface here in the program type. So in the program type, you will have the conversion, enhancement, report. So you can mark this as enhancement. And you also need to mark how much priority is this and how complex it is. And on how many it is used every day, or it is used monthly or weekly, that can also be mentioned here. So this is the requirement. If the requirement is clear, can we move ahead with the solution? The requirement is wherever the advance payment is done for the purchase order and the buyer is trying to delete the purchase order, system should throw an error saying that for this purchase order, the advance payment is done, so deletion not possible. Is the requirement clear?
Venkatesh, this is the standard template for all the FS document, or it is like limited to a particular scenario?
Varies from business to business. Each and every business is going to have a different template, and that also depends on the implementation partner. So implementation partner can suggest which template to be used for the business.
Okay.
So in the meanwhile, I also need SAP for this. Let me open SAP. Any questions regarding the requirement? Okay. If there is no questions, then let me build the solution. So here, the solution is built like this, saying that we are telling a logic. First, we need to tell what is the requirement. The requirement is the buyer should not be able to delete the PO or PR for which the advance payment is done. In that case, first you need to see where the PO information is saved. In the technical language, the PO information is saved in the tables. All the data which is getting stored in SAP is getting saved in some table. So we have the PO table. So we are speaking about PO here. So we need to see where the PO information is saved. For that, I need to go to SAP. I'll go to SE16N. This transaction is the table transaction. Till now, we have seen the data in the different transaction like ME21N, ME23N. But if you want to see the data in the table level, you need to open the transaction SE16N. So in this transaction, system will ask for which table you want to see the data. Normally, we are speaking here in the PO table. So for PO, we have two tables, as I mentioned in the last week. So one is header, one is item. For header, it is EKKO. EKKO is a table for header. You can see purchasing document header. Without giving any data, if I execute, the system will display the data here. All this information, what you're seeing here, will be in the header. All this information are in the header. In the same way, if you want to see the item level details, then you can go to the table EKPO. EKPO will give the item level information. I execute. It will give what material are you purchasing, what is the quantity. You can see here what material are you purchasing, what is the material group of it, for which plant you're purchasing, what is the info record, supplier material number, what is the quantity, what quantity are you requesting, when are you requesting. So all the information you will be able to see it here. What is the price, everything. When are we going to send the reminders? So the technical consultant will not pick the information from the transactions. He'll be picking the information from the table level. So first thing, what is the requirement? The buyer should not be able to delete the POs. So here I have the PO, all the PO information. You can also see how many POs are there in system here. If I put this table, and if I click on number of entries, I can see there are 3,387 lines of POs. If you want to see just PO count, you can go to EKKO, click on number of entries. There are 3,224 POs. In this 3,224 POs, we don't have idea which POs has been advance payment has been done. For which PO the business has done that advance payment. So now that is not your scope. So advance payment is not a scope of MM. So we need to go and ask finance, how can we find, where can we find that if the advance payment is done or not? So what finance people will tell, you can check that information in the special GL. If the special GL is marked as A, that means the advance payment is done. If special GL is not marked as A, then the advance payment is not done. So that information is getting stored in the table of BSIK. So this information you will get from finance. So what finance is telling? Finance is telling in the table BSIK, I'll go to the BSIK table now. This is the accounting of suppliers. In this table BSIK, if the special GL indicator is set as A, what is A? A is nothing but down payment. In this table, if it is set as down payment, then those POs payment has been done for those POs. Okay, so now what we need to do, in this table, you don't have the PO informations. But at execute, I'll get the data. I'll get the data like this. And here you have the document number. Okay, and you have the special GL here. Okay, if there is any information here, then for those POs, data transformation is done. So you using EKKO table, you can pick all the POs. So how the logic need to be written is, I'll write a logic here. Now you need to focus on the logic. This is simple logic. Going further, I'll write more big logics. So in one second, give me a second. Okay, sorry. So now, what I said, we are going to use the EKKO table. for the PO header. In AKKO table, we need to see where the PO number is getting stored. So that is EBELN. So this is a field name. So the first is the table name. EKKO is the table name. And EBELN is the field name. Okay, first, wherever you see logic, wherever you open any FS document, if you're seeing the logic, the first 4 alphabet will be your table name. After the hyphen, you will have 4 more alphabets, that is the field name. So this is table, this is a field. So in this table, if you go to EKKO table, in this EBELN, you will be able to see the PO numbers. So this is a PO number. Okay, so here in this table, you're getting the PO numbers. In BSIK, you will be able to see the payment history. Now, what information you need to get? You need to see if there is a indicator A in special GL. If there is A in special GL. So what you need to do, you need to get the PO number from here. You need to pass all the PO numbers from here to this table and see if there is a indicator in the special GL. So how the logic should be written? Pass EKQ EBELN to BISK EBELN and fetch BISK, and you have one more here, which is UMSKS. So what I'm telling, I'm passing the PO numbers from this table, taking from this field to this table and this field, and I'm fetching this information. So this will explain, I am fetching this special GL here. Second line, if BSISK UMSKS is A, then block the PO for deletion. If I write this logic, if I write this solution or logic and give it to the technical people is going to add these 2 lines in their program. He might change his language. He might write in different way, but the logic is same. Even he is going to pick the PO numbers from this table and pass it to this table and find this information. In this information, if there is A, then the user should not be able to delete the PO. So that is how the logic is written. So now if I go to the FS, so here also he says that pass EBLN to this table and fetch this information. If this information is having any information like A, then this number should not get closed and give an error message saying that advance payment is pending. So when we execute this, that will look like this. There is a screenshot attached, I guess, here. So whenever you try to delete a PO, that will give an information saying that the delivery is not, sorry, the deletion is not possible as there is a payment already done. So this functionality is not available in SAP standard, but we are getting this done through an enhancement. You need to just provide a logic from where the information need to be fetched and what is the condition. And the logic and the condition should be written in the ABAP language, that is in the table and field language. Okay, any questions? This is just small logic. For some enhancements or some customization, you need to write 10 to 15 logics like this from where you need to fetch the data. You need to think from where you need to fetch, you need to have an idea what are the tables, what are the fields available in SAP. Based on only that, you will be able to figure out.
Venkatesh, in real time, how often we come across such scenarios?
Sorry, in real-time scenario?
In real time, how often we come across such scenarios of writing such things?
As I mentioned, in greenfield, it is 20 to 30%, and in conversion, it is mostly 50 to 60%. Any more
This
questions?
this
Please
logic
start.
you'll be defining in the system, Venkatesh.
No. This logic we will be giving to the technical people, and technical people is going to write a program. So when I say program, it will look like this. Let's see, 37. I have to find a program. So if you give the logic, so technical people will write a program and define that in a program name. So for each and every transaction, if I show, for example, if I go to ME23, getting terminated. For each and every transaction, you go to system and status. You will find the program name here. So this is a program of PO screen. So if you need to add anything in this PO screen, you need to customize or add any field. So the changes need to be done in this program. So what Avaper will do, Avaper will take this program and he'll go to the transaction. And put this program name here. And he is going to change this program. So let me show how program looks. This is a JavaScript. We will not understand anything. So in this program, you will be able to see all the information what is in the PO. So he is going to add it is getting terminated. I don't know why. He's going to add the logic what we give here in this program. So it is getting terminated.
And that Abel and all those codes, where will we find it, Venkatesh? Like even
You,
while going forward, if we have to create a logic.
you will not find it in system anywhere. So if you want to see the tables, you can only track through this SE16N. So if I put EK star and click on search, I'll be able to see which all tables are there starting from EK. So this, you will not be able to find any report or anything in system, but you should remember some tables at least. I can give you an Excel where I have listed down some important tables that might help you. But in one table, for example, if I go to EKKO, there's a header table. And in this one table, I will be having at least 300 or 195 fields here. You cannot remember all the field names. So what I suggest, at least try to remember the table name, come to this transaction, put the table name and get the field names from here. You will
Okay,
not be able to find any information system.
and this might be an interview question as well, like to write the logic.
No, they might not ask you to directly write the logic in interview. They might ask you if this is a requirement, then what is the table and field? In which table are we going to store this information?
Okay.
In which table are we storing the PIR information? In which table are we storing this contact information? So for PIR, it is EINE for purchasing organization. And for general data, it is EINA, general data. And if you want to open the contract, you can use the same EKKO.
Venkatesh, is there any
Sorry.
Is there any list of tables?
Yeah, that's what I said.
I mean, just for our
listed down,
reference, is there
yeah, I
any?
listed down some tables. I'll share the file with you.
Okay.
What is our moving forward plan, Venkatesh, like next week?
Next week, you'll be sharing your resumes with me,
Okay.
and we'll discuss how to finalize your resume. That is one thing. And getting you prepared for the interviews and taking the mock interviews.
Okay. That will be during weekends itself, Venkatesh?
No, not the weekend. That depends on each and every person. Each and every person, when you're ready, can reach out to me,
Okay.
your resumes, so we can have a discussion on that. We will not be having a group session from next week.
Okay.
We'll be having an individual session or a phone call to discuss on that.
And Venkatesh, while starting with the level 2, you had one slide showing us this SAP real project examples, interfaces, implementation, support project, all those things.
Yeah.
So, like, will you be covering that or?
No, I think we covered that part. Let me share that here. I think we covered everything from that part. I need to open that. Give me a second. So we covered all the things which are listed down in that roadmap. We did not miss anything. Yeah, it may take some time to open. Any more questions apart from that?
Venkatesh, can you please brief about the TS 452 certification questions?
TS 452 certification questions are the standard questions. So there are 80 questions which are asked by business. Sorry, not business. It is from SAP. So SAP will be conducting an exam called TS 452 where you will be globally certified. So there are 80 questions which are asked. There are some dumps. You can ask Prabhu to share the dump with you. So he can share the dumps with you. So questions are pretty standard and it is basic questions. So in what cases should we do the goods receipt? And what are the transaction keys which are getting affected when we do the goods receipt? So those type of questions will be asked in the certification questions. So you can go through the dumps which Prabhu gives you and you can clear the certification.
He has already shared with us. My doubt is, are these questions have appeared previously
Yes.
or okay?
So SAP has some standard set of questions which will be asked. So they'll be asking only questions from them. So this is what I shared in the initial of level 2. So first thing is like the project types. We covered the project types. What are the different types of projects we have in SAP? And we also discussed regarding the implementation team, when the team is getting onboarded and which person is going to work on which activities. This is also covered. Then the implementation phases. We covered all 6 phases. Then we took one real project example as a construction-based industry and discussed how we need to start discussing with business. Then the challenges, in each and every phases, we discussed what are the challenges which we might face. Interface, we covered IDOC. Support project, we covered. We are left with the profile building and the interview preparation. So this will be doing individually.
Venkatesh, Prabhu has shared one more thing called support tickets with video solutions.
Yep.
Is it related to the issues we get while processing and the video solutions of it?
Yes, those are the some of support tickets which are taken from some students who are working in real-time business, and they have shared those their experience. Based on that, we have prepared those support tickets session. So you will find some 80 support tickets there. So you will be finding some medium, low, and high tickets also, all the 3 types of tickets. Okay, if no questions, can we move to the next FS?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me open the other FS. Let me take some report, or let me take randomly. Okay, this is a report. This is a report requirement. So we have seen enhancement, how enhancement logic need to be written. Now we will see the report. In report, we have seen the MM60 where a material report, a vendor report, all those things. But there is an additional requirement or a new requirement coming from business where they need to build the report for the information, say asking who is the release approver. So business need to see when the PO or PO, PR, contract, anything, any document is raised, the person need to see or the requester need to see that who is the approver. Now, for example, now you have raised 100 POs per day, and the buyer cannot open each and every PO and go inside and see who is approved. So that is the reason they are requesting to create a report where they will be able to see all the POs in a list with the approver names. So that is a requirement. So here you can see the brief description. To develop a report that gives details about SAP document release information for PO, agreement, service entry sheet, all those things. And you can also see a bit more explained here. This will give better clarity about the real-time status of documents pending for release or status of the document released. So by this report, they can understand that which POs are released and which POs are not released and which POs are pending with which person. Okay, is the requirement clear? If the requirement is clear, then we can go with the logic.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we are speaking regarding report, we need to understand in the solution or in the logic building, we have two screens. One is the input screen and one is the output screen. So what is input screen? What is output screen? So if I go to SAP, and if I open the MM60 transaction, whenever I open any transaction of report, so this is called as an input screen. So what input screen is doing? Input screen is going to filter the data. For example, if without giving any information, I just execute, system is going to give all the information, all the data. It is going to give my plant, the other plants, so random plants, everything. So now, before I execute, if I put only my plant, so system will filter and give the materials only created for my plant. Or if I want to put a filter on the material type, I want to see only the material type which are created for ROH or which are created by only me. So I'll be able to see only which are created by me. Or if I want to filter based on material type, I can filter. So input screen is used to do the filtration. So when you're building the report, we need to consider two screens. One is the input screen, one is output screen. So this is the input screen. And if I execute, this is the output screen. So whenever you're building a report, you need to ask business what all information you need to see in the input screen. Let me take the same example of this. And what you need to see in the output screen. So you need to list down here. So in the input screen, first is the input screen. In the input screen, they are telling that, let me take the same example. They need material, plant, material number. They need the plant. And they need the material type, material group, created by. These are the input screen. And we also need to ask what is the output screen they need to see. When I say output screen, what is the information they need to see in the output? That is this. They need to see material, plant, evaluation type. So make a note of it all things. Material number, plant, valuation type. They also want to see the material group, material type, material description, and they can also write down these all base unit of measure, purchasing group, ABC indicator, type, everything. You can list it down here. So this is the input screen. This is the output screen. So now what you need to do, you need to find where you can get this information. So when you're building the logic, try to fetch one table or maximum two tables. All the information what is listed down here, you should be able to get it from one or two tables. If not, you need to write a pass logic. If you don't want to write a pass logic, then you can find one or two tables where you will be getting all this information. So first thing, material number. Where can we get the material number? Material number can be fetched from multiple tables, which is MARA, MARC, MARD, MBEW. So in all these tables, you will be able to see the material number. Plant. Plant you'll get from this table, MARC. So directly write MARC. MARC is a table, but plant is a field. The plant field name is WERKS. Okay, material type. Where are you going to get the material type? So now we need to go to S16N, put MARA, search in the field. If you have the material type, you have the material type MTART. So write down MARA MTART. Okay, for material number also you can take MARA MATNR. Like this, you need to write the table and field where you can get the information. In the same way, write down for material group and created by. So that also you can get it from here. Material group is MATKL. Okay, created by. You can see created by somewhere here. So MARA ERNAM. So you are going to give this information to your technical team, saying that I want this information to be there in my input field. So the technical team is not bothered about this information, he is only bothered about this information because he is going to involve this information in this program. So for technical people, material number is going to come from this table and field, plant from this table and field, material type from this table and field. Okay. Now, in this material list or material report, you have from and to. You also need to mention, do we need from and to or not? Is that field mandatory or not? So this is how you're going to give the logic to the paper. So if I open the FS now, what is the requirement here? The requirement is you need to see who is the approver of that PO and the names of the approvers. So for this, you need the input screen. This is the input screen. In input screen, what they need the PR number, PO creation date, plant, purchase group, and PR document type. These are the requirement. Okay. All this information are going to come from EBAN table. So how we took the information from MARA table, all this information related to the PR is going to come from EBAN, EBAN. So in EBAN, these are the field names. If you open EBAN in SE16N, you'll be able to see all these field names. So this is the information you need to give the technical team. And the range. If you need from and to, mention from and to. If you don't need the range, leave it blank. Okay. And mention if that field is mandatory or not. Without filling that field, if you don't want to execute, then mention that is mandatory so that that will become a mandatory field. So this is how you need to build your input screen. Now, the output screen. For the output screen also, you need to write the same type. What you need to see in the output and what is the table field. But what is the logic? So what is the requirement here? They need to see who is approver. So you cannot get the information of approver directly in any of the table. So what we can do now, we need to focus here. So I'll go to the table called EBAN. Let me open the SE16N. I'll go to the table called EBAN. In this EBAN, search for the approval list if you have. You have 237 fields. In this 237 fields, search if you have any approver name. For sure, you will not have it. So remember the release configuration once. In release configuration, you will have where is the name getting stored? Name is getting stored in the release code. In the release code. the release code is getting assigned for the release group and release strategy. So here you have the release strategy. Okay. In the same way, you will also have the release group. So search where is the release group. Let me find Control F, group. So you have purchase group, material group, release group. So you have release group, which is FRGGR. So make a note of it. So release group is FRGGR. And release strategy. Because you don't have the release code here. If you have the release code, you would have directly picked the release code directly from here. As we don't have the release code, we are going to pick the release group and release strategy, FRGST. Okay, these are the two fields. Now, where I can find the release code? Release code is getting stored in one of the table, which is a release table. So what is a release table? Release table is, I'll find it here, T16FS. So T16FS is the release table. Now open this table. Here you have the release group and release strategy. Okay. So when you are merging two tables, for example, when you are moving the data from one table to other table, the base information should be available in both the table. I have release group and release strategy in this table as well as in the EBAN table. Only then I'll be able to merge this. So now I'll execute. So whenever my release group is A1 and release strategy is S1, the approver is the senior manager. Whenever my release group is A2 and strategy is S2, then supervisor, senior manager, and the manager. So these are the persons who need to approve. If I scroll down, you will have multiple levels of approvals here. Normally, SAP has 8 levels of approvals. So you have 8 codes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 level of release is the maximum level of release which SAP can have. Okay. So you will take the information from EBAN. Let me show that part. So first you will go to EBAN. Okay. And I'll take the release group and release strategy. Release strategy. No, this is release state. Release strategy. And I'll take the group also. Okay. I'll unselect everything. I just want the PR number with the release codes. Execute. So I just want this PO number. For this PO, which is 501, the release strategy and the group is PSPB. So I'll pass these two information to this table, PSPB. So I'll put PS here and PB here. And I'll execute. I don't have this because the configuration is deleted. Okay. In the same way, if I get this A1, so if I get A1, so this is the release codes. I have 3 levels of approvals. So if the value is 0 to 1000, so it will go for this. So from PO, I'll be able to see how many levels of approval are there. And I'll come and check who is the approvers here. And I'll find and send an email and build a report like this. So the logic is written like this, saying that I'll go to this EBAN table, take the release strategy and release group. I'll pass this information to this table T16FS and find who is the first level, second level, and third level. and execute that in a report. So for this PR, the release code is this, and it should be this person, a senior manager. So this is how you need to build a report with a logic. If you want to just build a report with only the information, then you don't want to build any logic. You can just, as I mentioned, you can just take input fields, output fields, and build a report. For the output, if you have any logic, if you want to see only specific information in the output, then you need to apply the logic on that. Okay? Any questions? So writing FS or building a logic, you will not be able to write in a single day. So that depends on your analytics. So how you are going to analyze the situation. And